2020 brought a lot of unusuality with the Nationals, and one of the most notable things we saw happen was the moving of Juan Soto to right field after Adam Eaton suffered a season-ending broken finger injury. This saw Andrew Stevenson take over in left field, who had a red-hot 15-game stretch to end the season, slashing .366, .477, .732 with a .1209 OPS, 2 home runs, 12 RBIs, 206 WRC+, and 8 total extra base hits and 37 plate appearances. While it was nice to see what kind of player Stevenson could be, many doubted that he could keep up that stretch over a full season, as Stevenson had always been an in-between bench pat type player. Come free agency, the Nats now had a hole in left field that needed to be filled. In steps Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber was selected with the 4th overall pick by the Chicago Cubs out of Indiana University in the 2014 MLB draft. He was originally drafted as a catcher, being selected high in the draft due to his incredible raw power at the plate, with one Cub scout even comparing him to Babe Ruth. The very next year, on June 16, 2015, Schwarber made his MLB debut. They sent him down after 6 games, but he was called back up to the majors on July 16th. Over the course of his rookie season, he split time between catching in the outfield, slashing .246, .355, .487 with an .842 OPS, 16 home runs, 43 RBIs, and a 131 WRC+ in 69 games. He also hit a towering home run off Garrett Cole in the 2015 NL Wildcard game, as well as a mammoth blast that landed on top of the Wrigley scoreboard in right field against the Cardinals in the NLDS. The very next season, however, Schwarber would only play a grand total of 2 games. During a game against the Arizona Diamondbacks on April 7, 2016, Schwarber collided with outfielder Dexter Fowler as both tried to run down a fly ball. He tore his ACL and would be out for the remainder of the season. In miraculous fashion, Schwarber was able to rehab his ACL injury and rejoin the Cubs for the World Series in 2016. He ended up hitting .412 in that series, helping the Cubs end the longest championship drought in baseball history. The next season, Schwarber slashed .211, .315, .467 with a .782 OPS, 30 home runs, 59 RBIs, and a 103 WRC+ in 129 games. He brought the power as promised, but it came with a low average and a weak on-base percentage. In 2018, Schwarber improved his numbers, slashing .238, .356, .467 with an .823 OPS, 26 home runs, 61 RBIs, and a 115 WRC+ in 137 games. Even though Schwarber slugged the exact same as his previous season and hit 4 less homers, he was able to improve upon his average, on-base percentage, OPS, and his WRC+. It is also worth noting by this point, Schwarber had been the full-time left fielder for the Cubs, and Wilson Contreras was getting a majority of the time behind the plate. 2019 saw Kyle Schwarber have a career year. In 155 games, he slashed .250, .339, .531 with an .871 OPS, 38 home runs, 92 RBIs, and a 121 WRC+. Even though his on-base percentage dropped a little bit from the previous season, his slugging was way up, and his average WRC+ and OPS all again went up. It seemed that the ball just absolutely exploded off of Schwarber's barrel every time he made contact, and Cubs fans were finally seeing the 4th overall pick with insane power that they had all hoped for, even if he had moved positions. In comes 2020, the season where we saw an abundance of good players have a pretty awful year, and Schwarber was one of them. The Cubs had just missed the playoffs the previous year with a mediocre 84-78 record, following up a season before in which they had a frustrating wildcard game loss against the Colorado Rockies at home. And in 2020, frustrations continued for the Cubs, where we saw a majority of their core players including Schwarber, Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, and Anthony Rizzo have either a tragic or just generally unimpressive season. In 59 games, Schwarber slashed a dreadful .188, .308, .393, the lowest batting average of any qualified National League hitter. This also included a .701 OPS, 11 home runs, 24 RBIs, and a below-league average 91 WRC+. Schwarber followed the same theme as Josh Bell, having a career year in 2019 just to follow it up with the worst season of his career in the succeeding short season. The Cubs made the playoffs in 2020 with an expanded 16-team format despite the offensive struggles from so many of their key guys. However, they were quickly taken care of by the Miami Marlins, losing the first 2 games out of the 3-game wildcard series and getting swept out of the playoffs at home. That offseason, rumors started swirling that the Cubs could be looking to shed salary as they had apparently lost so much money from the COVID season, even though they're quite literally one of the biggest markets in the league. MLB owners absolutely suck, but that's besides the point. Noise was being made about the Cubs possibly non-tendering Schwarber, as they felt that they would not be able to get anything of value back for him in a trade coming off such a dreadful year. Nonetheless, the Cubs wanted to shed salary, and they ended up non-tendering Schwarber with a year left on his contract on December 2nd, 2020. The former 4th overall pick's tenure with the team had come to a close after spending 6 seasons in Chicago. Schwarber did not spend much time as a free agent. Just over a month later, on January 9th, 2021, the Washington Nationals signed Schwarber to a 1-year, $10 million contract. He was set to become the Nats' new everyday left fielder after Adam Eaton departed to the Chicago White Sox in free agency and Juan Soto had moved to right field. After trading for Josh Bell, the Nats added even more power to the middle of the lineup, in which they were 21st in the league in home runs in 2020 and just genuinely lacked raw power in their lineup outside of Juan Soto. Like Bell, the Nats took a gamble with Schwarber and are hoping to get the 2019 version rather than the 2021. Schwarber and Eaton are drastically different players, as Schwarber brings raw power while Eaton was a slap hitter and lacked home run pop. However, the similarity with both is that their defense can be questionable. With both guys, you're going to end up holding your breath when a ball is hit their way, and in Eaton's case, he was pretty much unwatchable in right field last season. However, Schwarber brings something that Eaton did not bring whatsoever, and that's his arm. Being a former catcher, Schwarber has a naturally strong arm. In fact, he has the second most outfield assists by a left fielder since 2017 with 25, only behind Andrew Benintendi of the Kansas City Royals. While his defense may not be as sharp as you would hope for, Schwarber prides himself in trying to improve every aspect of his game as much as possible, especially his outfield defense. He will also be playing alongside Victor Robles, who can cover an insane amount of ground and can help Schwarber on balls that are hit into left center field. So what should the Nationals be expecting out of Schwarber? Since Josh Bell is supposedly the plan to be protection for Juan Soto according to manager Dave Martinez, Schwarber will be tasked with being the guy who he always has, a dude that just simply hits massive frickin' ding-dongs. As long as Schwarber can provide 30-plus home run pop from either the 4th or the 5th spot, can consistently drive in runs, and play at least slightly below average defense, I believe that he could be a nice addition for the Nats. While many Nats fans wanted to see the team try to go for a big free agent fish in the outfield like George Springer or Marcell Ozuna, the Nats saw what they could get in Schwarber and were able to secure his services with thanks to his connection with manager Dave Martinez. As with Josh Bell, the Nats are going to need Schwarber to hit like he did in 2019, or at least somewhere in between 2018 and 2019, in order for them to succeed this year. While the starting pitching needs to greatly improve in order for this team to have a chance in 2021, run production will also be key in a bloodbath NL East, and Schwarber is going to have to figure into that equation somehow. Let's hope that the 27-year-old will be able to produce like he is capable of, or else the Nats' decision to go with him over another free agent outfielder risks looking questionable at best.